Hi everyone, welcome back to Project No Buy. This is the next installment in the series of why I used to want what I used to want. We're trying to get through every category. We've done clothing and makeup and books, and those are the heavy hitters for me. The last one was home decor. Today, we're delving into the pens and markers and papers and journals and all things stationery. So, getting right into it, the first thing I have here is a carousel, what I got from Shein Stationery Edition. I wasn't even aware Shein sold stationery, so this is news to me. I thought they were mainly for clothes. I was wrong. So we have a one-piece letter graphic plan board, multicolor, one size. This is like a to-do list with a slider to check things off. I don't know what was wrong with the old-fashioned to-do list on paper where you could manually check things off, but I guess in theory this is a reusable product. But it's also a piece of plastic, and I just don't know how often somebody would use this. It would have to be routine, I guess. We have these mixed color index sticky note, simple multi-purpose, easy to post, writable index, whatever. These little inserts, I guess, for standards and legislations. I guess this is an accounting student, so they're going to use these to help keep track of things. Highlighters, love these shades. They're different from what I normally get. There were highlighters in the first shot of this, right? So did this person actually need any more highlighters? The world may never know. A pencil pouch that says another day of sunshine. A block of Post-it notes. 2024 to 25 monthly planner and calendar. A laptop stand. Apparently this one is very flimsy. Surprise, surprise. Ordering one from Shein is probably not the move. A floral pattern ruler. Mechanical pencils. I think this is what this is. Black marker pens. Need these to write on labels for my legislation and standards. I guess the thing is, you didn't need any of these specific things, right? And the whole thing with Shein is just that we are aware that the things produced for Shein are at a price point that they cannot be produced ethically. And so to continue to normalize and glorify in a way by presenting as aspirational this kind of haul, when it does appear that there are products not from Shein, right? In that very first photo, it seems like there are at least a few products there, the pens that are generic, the highlighters, who knows where those Post-its are from, and that notebook, this person doesn't seem to have to get everything from Shein. In fact, this might be a hot take, especially at the beginning of a stationery video, where I know this is kind of a category of things that a lot of people collect various bits and bobs of, right? Like kind of multiple things. But my hot take is that stationery items, in a lot of cases, can last a long time. And so to fully use up a mechanical pencil, well, you get lead, right, for a mechanical pencil, but, multiple packages of lead, or to fully use up a pen, or to fully even sharpen down a standard pencil takes kind of a long time. And I know these are categories of things that we also misplace and lose sometimes, but I don't know that most people need multiples of most things like this. And, it's one thing if this is the back to school haul for the beginning of a school year and this stuff is going to last all year. And, well, I mean, it's one thing, but it's also still from Shein, which is not something we want to support or continue feeding our dollars, in my humble opinion. But it's another thing if this is a regular occurrence, which, again, some of these other videos that I'm about to go through will suggest that for some people, this is a regular occurrence. So let's move on. Next, we have an Amazon stationery haul. Again, with the cloud box cutters. Why? Why do we need these? Like, I lived my whole life and continue to live my life without any box cutter. And if I have a problem opening a box, I get a pair of scissors. And you know what? Now that I've stopped shopping so much, I don't have as many boxes to open. So, look, I know there are some jobs and some situations where you do need a box cutter. Why have these cloud-shaped, aesthetically pleasing pastel box cutters come into such vogue these days? It boggles my mind. Ooh, we needed to cut the Amazon package with our box cutter. Sorry, I didn't know that we could use them on bubble mailers too. That is a lot of packs of Post-it notes. Those flower shapes are really going to fit into corners of books and, you know, spines of textbooks really easily there. We're just using the cloud box cutter on everything here. Oh man, we definitely needed 6 different colors of to-do list Post-its. What am I doing? How can I survive without these to-do list Post-it notes? And of course, this video would not be complete without putting our freshly hauled stationery into the plastic organizers, into the plastic drawer. Again, I'm sorry for being so salty in these videos, but consider me a bitter old crone if you have to, as somebody who was in the space of being influenced by this kind of stuff and now has come through that tunnel. And again, I'm sorry if I seem sarcastic or mean, or maybe I'm just not a very nice person, but I just see this stuff so differently now, and it's hard to take it seriously. So apologies for my rudeness. Next, we have another photo carousel here, a Japanese stationery haul with prices. And again, Japanese stationery is very popular. It's very cute. We're going to see that kind of hyper aestheticization of stationery in some of the upcoming videos as well. So let's just do a quick whiz through these pictures. So first we have some cable protectors, some craft hole punches from Daiso, a must go for stationery lovers. I actually have never been into one and kind of want to go into one. I am not planning on buying anything, or I don't actually need anything stationery related, or I don't know what else they sell there, but I am curious. And, you know, I know that's not a good use of my time. I don't even think there's one locally for me, so it's not like a danger zone or anything, but it's something I am aware of and am curious about. Washi tape, I'm a collector. So again, using the collection to justify consuming a lot of a particular thing. I did a video on that. A Sanrio zip pouch, memo pads, Hello Kitty calendar, stamp sets, and stickers. Oh, one more, midliner packs. If you know, you know. I don't know, so I will swiftly move on and not be influenced by all these kind of cute little stationery finds. I do think that one of the dangers with things like stationery, it's kind of one of the things that I talked about with the makeup as well, I think. I might not have mentioned it directly, I'm not sure, but allow me to mention it here. This is a category where each individual thing is not very expensive. And so you can end up justifying or kind of adding another thing, or not really feeling the consumer impacts of another pack of pens, because it's a functional product. It's not, you know, it's cheap. It's not leaving a huge impact on your finances. And in theory, you will use all of this stuff, and it has a purpose. And so it feels like very justifiable consumerism. The next video is a haul. Let's watch.
Stationery haul. Mochi Things edition. I got so many stickers. I cannot wait to show you guys.
Okay, actually this one is 6 minutes and 53 seconds long, so we will not watch this whole thing.
To what I got, truly braved the like wind and flooding weather to get to this store. All I can say is it was worth it. I'm just gonna show my receipt for scale of like how many individual items.
Again, the death by 1,000 cuts. Look at that receipt. A lot of little things
I purchased. Starting off strong, just look at these. They're like little tiny Post-it notes, but they have faces and they have eyes. I already know I'm gonna give these to one of my friends, but like, how freaking cute are these? And they're so small, like they're so cute. Love. I also got like the parent size of these, like here's the circle one. So this little family, so freaking cute. Like, can you even? Immediate yes. Y'all know I'm a reader. Look at these bookmarks. Look at these bookmarks. They're so freaking cute. They're clear. They have little rulers. I feel like they'll be so fun in my Hobonichi, but also just like in a book or like a junk journal, like whatever. I'm really into the faces because they make me happy.
And put a face on everything, it becomes cute and little and makes you happy. I mean,
into some stickers that I got. They are so fun. Okay, I don't really know what this is. I think it's just like a bunch of little stickers.
Don't you just love it when creators say they don't know what something is that they bought?
But again, the faces, I couldn't say no. Puffy fruits. So into fruit right now. Like, just so adorable. Love these letter stickers. Everyone has probably seen me use these. I'm obsessed with them. They work so well. They're
Okay, so we have a lot of stickers. In fact, I think, well, maybe not the entire rest of the video is stickers. We have some post-it note looking things again. There's just so much. Mini little composition books. So again, a lot of this is cute because it's small or because it has a face on it. And I mean, it's true. Small things and things with faces on them are cute. And I think if you watch my friend Shauna Ripar's channel, you'll know, she says this frequently. Just because something is cute does not mean that's a good reason to buy something. If we don't have a use value for it, if we don't have a plan, if we don't have a need, it's not a good reason to just buy things willy-nilly. Let's watch the next one. Stationery haul from Jian Wu. Okay, so again, I think they're playing on the everything is cute card. There's pastel colors, there's rainbow everything, there's calculators with clacky keys, that's ASMR, I guess. A lot of stickers again. I mean, I have a hard time with the stickers, I guess. So the thing with these videos, right, is that in the height of my shopping habits, I would be influenced to buy almost anything. I would be able to be influenced to buy almost everything, almost anything. And I do actually have a scrapbook, right? Maybe I need to show you the scrapbook as part of this video because otherwise this video kind of doesn't really make sense and I might just seem like a salty old lady again. But I have use cases or have had use cases for a lot of this kind of stuff. I am more removed from it now. And I know people out there like their stickers and like their pencil pouches and like their kind of aesthetically pleasing little highlighters or whatever these are, the correction tape in the shape of candy and glue tape with chubby markers. And it is very cute, but it just doesn't hold the same level of attraction as other things continue to hold in my life, I guess. And so, it's not that everybody has the same categories of overconsumption or things that they like to buy. And that's not to say that one category is better or worse or anything like that. But it is interesting to observe that while all of this stuff has kind of fallen off the radar for me, despite still liking scrapbooking, I don't have the desire to accumulate any more stuff for crafts like that. I feel like I want to use up what I have. And that kind of feeling is much more readily available to me for things like the stationery than it is for clothing and makeup, interestingly so. And so I wonder if it's because there's not really any insecurities that are attached to wanting stationery. It's an interesting question. That being said, the next video here is aesthetic pink stationery. So a very curated aesthetic collection of, oh, and there's even shoes in here and things that look like hair clips and earrings. So it still can be something that is an identity factor. And again, I think the identity factor is a selling point for categories like stationery. There is another haul. Again, I'm just going off of the TikTok homepage. There's another haul from that very same creator, and we're definitely not going to watch the whole thing. I might even just be talking over it right now. But again, a stationery haul. Apparently there's blind boxes. She's opening all these cute little things. We've got more stickers, exploring. Maybe this is a stationery influencer. I don't know. But again, watching somebody aspirational haul all of these things that we might wish we could do for ourselves. And the blind boxes, I think, are another really big thing, right? I watched some videos about the Labubu overconsumption or whatever, and I don't get it, I guess. I'm not a girly who gets it, but it is something that I feel like, and again, maybe I'm wrong about this, but I do feel like online social media has exacerbated the desire and the collecting impulse for little things like this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's always been a tendency for humankind. But the tendency that I've been aware of prior to these kind of blind boxes, for collecting at least, has been things like the stamps, the rocks, the coins, even clothes and shoes and stuff, you know, to some extent. But the blind boxes, the trading cards, I mean, we had trading cards when I was a kid, I guess, but little figurines and things like that were not as popular or weren't as much a part of my world. I just don't know. Of course, we can't escape the influence of Amazon, so this is the best cheap aesthetic stationery from Amazon. Let's see what it is. Pastel highlighters, pastel erasers, thinner pastel highlighters, pastel ring binders, ooh, kawaii cartoon pens. Okay, so basically get anything pastel. Is it America where the rubber is a questionable? I remember moving to New Zealand, there was something about how erasers are called rubbers, and that was a little bit of a joke because of the other thing that people call rubbers. But I can't remember which country that is.
If you're looking for pretty binder notebooks for school, this video is for you. The first notebook that I got is this Kokuyo Macaron in B5 size. Meron ako ng A5 nito and nagustuhan ko siya, so now I got it in B5. Meron siyang 5 dividers. Next is yung less is more series ng plan with. Pinili ko yung color pink and wala siyang divider, so for one subject lang. B5 to na manipis and lightweight, plus meron siyang pocket sa likod. And yung favorite ko from this haul, I got it in 3 colors because sobrang nagustuhan ko yung gradient design.
Speaking of pastel, it's not just the Amazon. The aesthetics for stationery are often pastel. And I guess I might even prove that when I bring out my own scrapbook, because I think there's a fair amount of pastel in there as well. So the last few videos that I have are showcasing a couple of more what I call tropes for social media product features. So there's a couple of sponsored videos, and there's the organization video, and also the video about the kind of journals that you could have, and kind of emphasizing all the functions that a journal can have. So going to the journals first, we have the notebook rotation photo carousel, where this person is sharing the kinds of books they have, scrapbooking, with little samples of how they do that, manifesting journal, a diary, a dream journal, a visual diary, so again, kind of a riff on the diary. And this is something that would have the capacity to influence me in the past, because it seems more creative, it seems more, I guess, concretely aspirational, right? Like, oh, I could buy a notebook and do a scrapbook or a dream diary, or you know, whichever specific type of journal. I think there's another 2025 journals video here as well, so I'll pull that one up too. So a commonplace notebook. I've seen this talked about by some philosophy channels online, actually. What was that other one? They're going so fast. A dopamine journal, something again I've never heard, but it's intriguing, right? Gifted paper, planner, a brain dump notebook, decorated with stickers, a reading journal, and a junk journal. So again, this is the kind of stuff that would be prime time influencing for me, because it feels like it's tickling my creative impulses. And so I would be easily convinced to want to try and therefore buy one of these things. Okay, going on to the organization video. So starting off with some blind boxes, starting off with next we got a bunch of phone cases. It does say it's a stationery organizing video. Yeah, we got washi tape, we got notepads and pens. It does look like this is a store, so I'm relieved to see that. But once again, it's just so interesting to see the different examples of organizing and how they kind of cross genres, right? Like you organize the nightstand, you organize the fridge, you organize the stationery. I'm sure there are examples where they organize stationery drawers too, right? You know, the makeup, the clothing, everything can be organized. Okay, last but not least, we have the couple of sponsored stationery videos where a brand sent this creator a box of their products. So this first one is cute girly stationery. It's all pink. There's a ribbon and a note and little sleeves for coffee, sticky notes, again, pink with the bow, very aesthetic, cute little cards, again with the pink and the bows, bookmarks, notebooks, and perfect for planning my content. Tagging your future favorite TikTok shop below. So here's influencing at work. That's that PR. Here is another stationery haul featuring journals say. It's unclear based on the caption here whether it was sponsored directly. We got the Sunny Angel in there in the cameo. We've got pastels, we've got sounds of ripping plastic and clips and ASMR. Lots of plastic, lots of single-use packaging. Scissors that are too small to actually do very much. Tape that's likewise too small. It's cute because it's small though. So many products, so many little pieces of paper. Again, with the aesthetic product openings, you know, making aspirational things that are new and unboxing. Yeah, so I'm not sure if these things were gifted, but they are tagged in the description. So it's a little bit ambiguous, and maybe that's on purpose. Influencers be influencing. Okay, so as not to disappoint, I will go grab my personal scrapbook that I made, and one of them anyway. I'm not going to show you. So I've made or completed two. One of them has pictures of my husband's and I, like back when we used to travel a little bit, you know, before having kids. We went on a few trips. I've got pictures in there. I'm not going to be showing you that one, but I will show you the empty one that I finished after that. And so I'll be right back. All right, so here is my scrapbook. I think I followed a NJ Papercrafts. Is that a YouTube channel? I followed a YouTube tutorial for this. It was a birthday cake scrapbook, but I adapted it to be a sushi roll. And again, I'm not saying any of this to influence you, but I guess I'm just displaying the extent of my influence, although not all influence is bad in this case. It's just the overconsumption of it that can be a problem, or the aspirational nature of things that we won't actually necessarily ever get to use. And so discerning what we actually have the capacity to use, you know, one of the reasons I would not buy any more scrapbooking supplies now is because I simply don't have the time to do it. And I already have supplies to do what I need to do with when I have the time to do so, if that makes sense. So until I actually get through what I have, it's not the time to be looking at or wanting anymore. And luckily, thanks to the attempted no buys, I know that now, and I won't fall into some of the pitfalls of it being a cheap little purchase, maybe a candidate for a little treat, you know, like we don't do that around here anymore, or at least not through consumerism. All right, if you want to see some of the inside of this, I will attempt to show you now in my very kind of DIY way here. So we have the opening here. This opens up as well. We're not doing a complete thing. These are just little flip cards here where you can put your photos. We did some fancier stuff, you know, there's magnets in here. This is a little pop out. Again, sorry for the kind of amateur way of showing this off to you here. This also folds up to reveal a little kind of opening here. Pastels. This comes out, so you can attach pictures there. So this again unties and you can open that up. This has a little spinner. So you can see the little picture here change. There's cards in the edges as well, here for more pictures. This opens up as well, and there's a little kind of, what is this? It's a pull. I will do this one because this one's kind of cool. So that's a little pull card there. This is a little kind of glitter shaky thing. This is another one of those pull tab things. Another untie it so that that unfolds open. This is like you untie this and then unfold all the little pictures. These are like tiny little clothespins. Again, they're cute because they're small, and there's little faces on these little guys. Another little tie thing, and then this little end page with, again, just more spots for your photos right here. Oh, the little flowers, you can unfold those. Reveal your picture. The little end page here, the little pop-up card. Oh, then just some extra scrap notes that I might use when I actually fill in this scrapbook. Another little mini photo album for the end. So that is my scrapbook, my use of stationery. And again, hopefully I didn't influence you through showing that, but I guess, you know, the point of that was to share my own relationship with the hobby of stationery and to kind of advocate that it can be responsibly done, and it doesn't have to involve constantly hauling new things to try and new things to use. And it is possible to have this aesthetic kind of result I used one paper pack for this scrapbook, right? Like it was a curated kind of kawaii design, as you can probably tell from the patterns in there. But I didn't get sucked into getting all the paper packs and hundreds of packs of stickers like it would have been really, really easy to do. And so I am pleased at least that I don't have the ravages of stationery overconsumption to deal with at this time. I do hope that I will get back into making a few more scrapbooks and getting to use the rest of my supplies that I actually have. If I have the foresight and the time, I might insert a little bit of footage of my stationery cabinet to kind of reveal what I have left, what I'm working on, and give that context, I guess, because I haven't really done a stationery declutter, and I have done declutters of a lot of other categories for things I've talked about on this channel. All right, with that, this was turned into kind of a chaotic conclusion to this video, but I think I did mention my scrapbook in a video a while back, and one person did say that they wanted to see it, so this is for you. All right, and with that, I would love to hear your thoughts on stationery, if it's something that you want, something that you struggle with buying or buying too much of or have bought too much of in the past. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.